All right, welcome back to another episode of the most electric podcast out there, especially if you're a fan of the minor leagues. That's what I do, interview a ton of different minor leaguers out there. I'm your host, Francisco Castro. This podcast is part of the More Than Baseball organization. More Than Baseball is working daily to better the lives of minor leaguers all over. Our mission is to protect and enhance the future of the game by allowing every ball player to live a better life. Definitely check them out. They have a lot of programs, including financial guidance, education, mental health, and a lot more. Check them out at morethanbaseball.org. All right, super excited for my guest today. Signed by the Rays out of Virginia. Last season's absolutely putting up numbers in the minors. Kyle Whitten, how's it going, brother?
It's going well. How about you? Thanks for
You know
having
what?
me on.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm doing well actually. Can't complain. I just had now my mind's blanking now. Austin Vernon on the pod, and I saw that he and like a couple others did a combined no, 2 hit shutout a couple weeks ago, a couple days ago, and I'm like, huh. All right, that's how I found out about you. I'm like, all right, I gotta have this guy on too because this guy's just putting up numbers. Are you friends with Austin or no?
Yeah, he's actually one of my roommates
Oh, okay,
here in Bowling Green. So yeah,
yeah.
it's funny. Yeah, he's a great guy. He's a good guy.
So who else is in your room though? Because when we were recording, he and I, there's somebody crawling in the background. Was that you trying to get out of the way?
No, it wasn't me. We have Alika Williams, who
Okay.
we drafted in 2020, and then Mason Hour, who was a draft pick last year. So
Oh, so there's four of
it's
you.
us four. Yeah.
So what do the Rays do then? How do they do it for the minor leagues in terms of like housing and stuff like that?
Well, this year is the first year, that minor leaguers don't have to pay, which
Yeah.
is huge for all of us. So it really changes based on the affiliate site. In Charleston, that's where I started the year.
Mhm.
I only had two other roommates, so it was three of us to a apartment, and then here we
Okay.
have four. So I think it just varies by level, but they've taken care of us a lot this year, so it's been really nice.
Yeah, I know for sure. And I know like when it comes to like housing, this year is obviously a huge help. Years prior, it wasn't always that way. Other organizations are different. I hear the Rays are pretty good though in terms of taking care of the minor leaguers. I know there's a few teams that do a really good job with that, even prior to this rule and all that kind of stuff. So tell me this: how is Austin as a roommate? Like, I mean, give us a little bit of dirt on him. I need something I can make fun of him on.
I don't
Like, is
know
he
if I have any
messy?
dirt
Like,
on him.
what's the scoop?
Um, I'll give you one thing. He brings an entire suitcase just for shoes for our road trips. So there's you something right there. I'm like more of like a light pack guy, like 4 or 5 pairs of shorts and a few polos to wear to the field and a few t-shirts to wear around the hotel, and then a pair of shoes, maybe two, and my toiletries. He is like everywhere we go, he's gonna bring a whole suitcase for his shoes and everything. So I usually give him a hard time for that because he's got his whole suitcase just for shoes. But he's a great roommate. It's been great to get to know him this year. He likes to talk a lot, so that's always nice to have someone to talk to in the apartment. So
For
yeah,
sure. Okay, I didn't know he was a shoe guy. That's good to know. I gotta.
yeah,
Are they nice shoes? I mean, like, is he?
oh yeah, oh yeah. No, I could probably learn a few things from him for sure. But yeah, he's got a lot of good shoes, a lot of nice shoes.
So you're from Virginia or Virginia. Do you consider yourself like a country guy? Like, are you like boots, cowboy boots, a hat? Because I'm from California. My brain thinks Virginia just thinks automatically like country, cowboy hat. Big belt buckle.
Unfortunately not. So my family is from Northern Virginia, so we're like an hour like south of DC, and there's a lot of traffic, a lot of people, so it's not my favorite place to be. I have some extended family down in Southwest Virginia, and that's more like farms and mountains and things like that. So I mean, for holidays and everything, I'm down there, but for the most part, it's unfortunately it's some traffic and stuff. But
Okay, so
Charlottesville, where
not very
Virginia is,
country
is
then.
kind of a mix of both. Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Unfortunately,
no worries. Or do you consider yourself country though?
yeah. I like to fish. I'd like to say, I like to be outdoors. I don't know that I'm a big like country cowboy boots kind of guy, but I definitely don't like the traffic. I like Bowling Green, Kentucky, where we are right now, because there's not a whole lot of people here, and it's kind of more out in the rural a little bit. So it's nice. It's nice. I don't like having to drive 20
Yeah,
minutes to get to the grocery store or
dude.
something like that. So
I grew up in California in the Bay Area. So like you can be like, all
Yeah,
right, any day of the week, just like, all right, I got to go like 5 miles to the store. Could take anywhere from like 10 minutes to like 45 minutes, dude. It's insane
yeah,
the amount of traffic and like how insane. And then I'm now in Wisconsin and it's different. Everyone's talking about traffic, and I'm like, dude, don't complain about no traffic because this is nothing compared to what I had to deal with, in the Bay
absolutely.
Area. Absolutely different than here, and probably different than Virginia as well. So what are you doing like on your off day? Because obviously today's Monday. You guys don't, or did you guys have a travel day? Or are you guys home?
So we got home late last night. We were in Winston-Salem last week, so we had about it's 7 hours in a car, but you throw it on a bus and add a stop or two in there, and it's more like nine and a half. So I think
Hmm.
we got back last night at like 1 a.m. So not much today. I woke up, did some laundry, stuff like that. Fortunately, we're on a 2 week homestand these next 2 weeks, which is a good feeling.
Hmm.
But yeah, usually, it's just hanging out with some of the guys. We have a pool table in the like lobby, clubhouse thing in our apartment. So sometimes guys will play pool or go to the actual pool, something like that. Just, lay low, relax, hang out with the guys. So
That's
yeah,
sick. Are you guys all in like one building, like a bunch of different apartments in a building?
literally everyone's like above each other, below each
Okay.
other, right next to it. Yeah. So it's cool.
That's
It's
pretty
really
cool.
cool.
That's pretty cool. And is it pretty close to like the facilities and stuff?
Yeah. Here. So when I was in Charleston, it was depending on the lights every 10 feet and everything, and traffic, it could be anywhere from 15 to 30 minutes, 35 minutes to the field, and then here it's been like 5 minutes maybe. So I mean, Charleston's obviously a lot bigger of a
Yeah.
city, but yeah, it's really easy to commute here.
That's awesome. That's cool. And like I said, you got promoted. How did they tell you you were going to get promoted? Because like you're in low A, you were putting up numbers, you were dominating and pitching well. Obviously, you got the call up to high A. Like, how did they let you know that you were going to get to that promotion?
So we were in Kinston, North Carolina, playing the
Terrible place.
Down East Wood Ducks. It was an interesting place for sure. And we got home that night, and usually when they call guys up, it'll be that night when you get back, or like that Sunday after the home game or
Hmm.
something. Usually the manager will tell you. So no one really got told anything. So we all just kind of figured, we'd play for another week. And so, everyone went back to their apartments, and I went to bed and woke up that next morning. And about 11 o'clock, they called me. Our manager, Blake, called me and, told me that I was going to Bowling Green and I'd been promoted. So I was, really happy about that. So I drove back to my apartment and packed up my stuff at the apartment, and then had to drive to the stadium, get all my baseball stuff at the stadium packed up, and then hit the road for Bowling Green. So it happened quick, and that off day was pretty eventful for sure. But it was a great feeling. So
Yeah, Austin had said that someone had tried to punk him and let him know, but then someone had already like let the cat out of the bag. So when they were telling him or whatnot, and he already knew the whole story and stuff like that. So it's crazy how everyone's different. Like how everyone finds out they're getting promoted. Obviously, it's a great feeling. But let's talk about like your growing up and stuff. Like, were you a one sport athlete, two sports? Like, how was your high school career and stuff like that?
when I was little, I played basketball and football. I played basketball up through middle school. I didn't hit puberty until about freshman year of high school, so I wasn't the best basketball player. I was pretty short. So I wasn't very successful at it, but I enjoyed playing it for my
Yeah.
middle school team. And um, then when high school started, I really just kind of focused on baseball. And then that became, more serious when I committed to Virginia, and then I was fortunate enough to play for the Canes national team, and that summer of going into junior year into senior year of high school, it was pretty insane. They flew us everywhere, bussed us everywhere. It felt like college ball. I mean, looking back on it, it basically was college ball, and that was a awesome experience. Playing for the Canes national is one of the highlights of my career for sure, just based on how it prepares you for the next level. So yeah, in high school, just one sport. So yeah, it was a
Yeah,
it
that's
was a
funny.
lot. Yeah, for sure.
I was reading a stat somewhere, and I don't know if this is true, but did your 10 youth team go 60-8?
Yeah, yeah. We were at one point we were 50-1,
What?
and then so we had a bunch of great players on that team. All those guys pretty much had chances to play Division 1 baseball. So that was awesome to grow up around too. I mean, again, I hit puberty late, so I was the 7-hole guy playing first base or left field. Like, on that team, I was not the one that was predicted to play professional
Hmm.
baseball or go Division 1. And God blessed me with a little growth spurt and a little bit of mobility, I guess. And I got in with the right guys in high school, and um, I kind of started throwing a little bit harder, and then I got that opportunity. But yeah, growing up, we had some really good teams, and we didn't lose until we were like 38 games in, and then we ended up losing like two or three at the end of the year because we went to that Elite World Series down in Orlando, Florida, where
Yeah.
like I don't know, it's like the Elite 32 or something
Hmm.
like that. It
Hmm.
was so that was always awesome to play against a lot of guys that are in pro ball today that I recognize. I'm like, the guy looks really familiar. Where's that guy from? And I'm like, he played for the San Diego Stars growing up or
Yeah.
whatever, that team was that you were playing in 12U. So it's pretty
Dude,
cool.
California teams though, they were just loaded. Like all those, like San Diego, that area, like there's so
Yeah.
many dudes that come out of there just nasty, and they're throwing heat too. Like
Yeah.
it's insane. Like how fast, how hard were you throwing? Like obviously you throw hard now, but when did you start hitting like 85, 90 or whatever?
See, again, I was more of like a finesse guy on that
Okay.
team. We had a few guys that could run it up there pretty well. Um, and we were playing kids that were throwing 80 miles an hour at like 12U,
Gee.
low 80s at like 12U, which was like you can't even see it,
Yeah.
like you're playing, I don't know how far, 50 feet, 45 feet. It's like, I mean, they're just like letting it rip. And I don't know, I probably, first time I hit 85 was probably the summer after my freshman year of high school or going into sophomore year. I think I got into that mid 80s, and I was just on one of those like slow inclines throughout my high school time, which I think was good for me and my body as I matured a little bit and everything. So
That's crazy. So how was that experience in Florida? Because obviously you're 12 or 11, 12, however old you were, and you're flying out to Florida and you're facing California kids, who are just dominant, and all the Texas kids and stuff like that. And like just really good teams. Like how's the whole experience as in like in general?
well, I think the coolest part was that a team from Northern Virginia was there because most of these teams are from the Floridas, Dallas,
Hmm.
San Diego, like all these teams that just breed talent.
Yeah.
And I think Northern Virginia kind of got some respect when some of our guys started playing well, and it was awesome. It makes you grow up quick and mature, and when you get humbled at like 10 years old and you realize, what, like I'm just not that good. It's
Yeah.
it's it's a good, it's tough at the time, but looking back on it, it really prepared me for college ball and especially pro ball. So it was awesome. And even high school too. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So
So you
it's
mentioned there's a lot of good
incredible.
guys. Yeah, you mentioned there's a lot of good guys on like your 12U team and like your high school team in that area. Are there any guys that like either there or in your on your high school who are playing pro ball now?
Um, Andre Lipchus was on our 12U team. I think he's in double or triple A with the Tigers.
Okay.
Um, Trying to think if anyone else is still in pro ball. Like I said, a lot of them went on to play Division 1 ball.
Yeah.
Um, but he might be the only one that's still in pro ball. So yeah.
That's cool. But like obviously it's sweet that you had a team that send guys either pro ball or to D1 schools and stuff like that. So you mentioned you commit when did you commit? Like after your sophomore year or junior year?
Yeah, July 4th after my sophomore year.
God bless America.
Yeah. Yeah, it literally. Yeah. Yeah. It was on a July 4th weekend tournament at UVA, and I pitched that morning against Canes National,
Mhm.
team I ended up playing for later on. I was with my hometown team and threw pretty well. We beat them that morning, and then I, got word that the coaches wanted to meet with me after, and they took me around the facilities and the campus and everything, and they offered me that day. And growing up in Northern Virginia, my dad and I, family, were huge Virginia fans, always at Virginia games. So it's a pretty easy choice for me to commit. So it's a
Yeah,
really
for sure.
exciting day.
Were there any other schools you visited or interested in, or maybe offering you? Because I mean, obviously you pitched well in high school and stuff today, so you probably got offers.
Yeah, I was talking to a good amount of schools, a lot of Virginia ones, a lot of North Carolina schools. I really liked ECU. Um, NC State was beautiful. I pitched
Mhm.
there. So I didn't really want to. I kind of set the bar at Virginia was the most north I was going to
Mhm.
go. If I was going to go to a school, I was going to go
Did
somewhere.
Virginia Tech reach out to you?
I did talk to them for a little while my freshman or sophomore year of high school, and that's a weird story. They were going through a lot of coaching changes and everything, and they came to watch me pitch my sophomore year of high school, and I think I threw a no hitter through like 5 or 6 innings, and then
Dang.
I never heard from them again. So I don't know
Well,
what
what more
happened
can you
there.
do? I mean, you threw a no hitter through 5 innings, and they're like, not our guy.
Yeah,
Now
so
they
I
probably
guess they
look at you
just
like you're the one that got away because like, you went to play for Virginia.
maybe.
Did you pitch well against Virginia Tech when you faced them?
Yeah, I think I throughout my career threw pretty well against Tech. I'm sure there was a bad outing in there somewhere, but yeah, I think for the most part, me and I remember a game, me and Abbott. I don't know Andrew Abbott, if you know who he is. He was a
Hmm.
second rounder with the Reds last year. One of my close friends from UVA. Me and him always were in the back part of our bullpen at Virginia. We always loved throwing against Virginia Tech, so that was always a good series.
Was that one of the series that everybody kind of got it up for? Like that was the biggest one. I
Oh
was
yeah,
with that rivalry.
oh yeah, yeah. That was always a good one. I mean, there's always you know, just like kind of random rivalries that pop up in the ACC based on a team that's having a really good year, things like that. And we get a good show up for those. But Virginia Tech never failed. It always seemed to be the last series of the regular season or
Hmm.
one of the last of the regular season when both teams, are playing pretty well. So it was always an exciting series.
Yeah, did things ever get chippy between the two teams? Maybe a hit by pitch or a little benches clearing?
We never cleared benches. Our coach Brian O'Connor in college, he was good about making sure we were, in line and everything. He's a great head coach, and but we definitely liked beating up on the Hokies a little bit for sure. Yeah.
Nice. And you play in the ACC. Like, how was college game day? Because obviously that it gets just electric there. And I don't know how good Virginia was, like their football team and stuff. But how were like the college game days and stuff?
Virginia was awesome. Our basketball team's really good too.
Hmm.
So that's always exciting. We won the national championship in 2019, which was awesome to be,
Were you
on
there?
campus for that. Yeah. Well, they played it, wherever the
Yeah.
championship was hosted. But yeah, everyone was out. Like we have a main like street on our campus. They call like the corner, and everyone was out like flooding the streets on that, and it was just an awesome time because we had lost the year before to the 16th seed, and we were the first ever number one national
I
seed to lose
remember
the
that. I
16th seed.
ruined my bracket.
So
No big deal. I'm heartbroken still. I haven't gotten over it.
they ruined mine that year too, but I think I took them all the way to the end the next year again. So yeah, that was cool to see. Everyone talks highly of Tony Bennett, our head basketball coach, and in my opinion, he seems like he does it the right way. So I was happy to see them have some success in their program, have some success. So it was cool. It's really cool.
What about like the football team? Like the were you did your coach like have you guys run practices every Saturday morning so that you guys can get too wild the night before or stuff like that?
Usually Saturdays we'd have like a morning lift in the fall. Um, so no, he always, he wants us to go have fun, just be smart with it. So it was fun. I mean, guys get close quick in college, and that was my favorite part of college ball is team camaraderie and
Mm-hmm.
being around everyone and the locker room and everything. So I think our coaches always did a really good job of kind of letting us build that environment and letting us like, you know, build an identity with each other
Yeah,
and see how we click. So they were always really good about that.
that's awesome. And like I don't know much about Virginia. Like, is it a big party school? Like, what's the scene like that over there?
I mean, we have a decent amount of students for sure, like 20 2,000 undergrad, I think. So, yeah, I mean, there's definitely parties going on. Our student athlete core, I mean, a lot of our teams are really good. So it's also really cool to see that dynamic of how many, I mean, our tennis team, our swimmers, they always have some Olympians on there. Like it's just cool to see, all the good athletic programs and how everyone kind of meshes in the dining hall. And then, there's also like a nightlife there where the guys
Mhm.
can go out together and everything. So, it's fun. It's a great mix. Virginia was a great mix.
Yeah. And let's talk about the World Series. Obviously, you guys, did you get a ring for going to the World Series?
We did.
How
Yeah, we
sick is
did.
that ring? Like I saw it
It's
on a picture that it just looks
awesome. Yeah, that was awesome because we got measured obviously before we flew out to Omaha. That day we got measured and we didn't know if that was going to be like a oh you're going ring or if like
yeah.
that's just in case we win. Obviously we all were going out there to try to win a ring and we were playing really well so we really wanted that but we weren't sure after season ended if we were going to get one or not and
Mhm.
our head coach had texted a bunch of us who had graduated and moved on and said that they were going to have a little ring ceremony for us last fall so we got to come back and get our rings and everything and it's that's a good thing to have from
Yeah.
college for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, sweet. And like how was the environment? Because obviously pitching in the College World Series, like that everyone's watching. You're on, ESPN or whatever they have it playing on and stuff. And like the whole country's watching. And there's only a couple
Yeah.
schools remaining and stuff. Like how was that? Because obviously you were the relief. Were you closing at that time?
Yeah, closing. I was doing a little bit of
Everything.
long relief.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, kind of whenever they needed me. And I always told Coach O'Connor and Drew Dickinson, our pitching coach, that, whenever you needed me, just I'm ready whenever you call my number. So the environment in Omaha was unbelievable. It's everything you dream of. I mean, we played Mississippi State in Texas, and I threw in both of those games, and it was like a home game for both of
Hmm.
them. Like they traveled incredibly well.
Wow.
So um, yeah, it was insane. I mean, there was 26,000 in the stadium, and then there's millions watching back
Hmm.
home. So the adrenaline rush there was a dream come true for sure. It was awesome.
Yeah. So how do you do that? Because you were a closer. So how when you're in the bullpen and you obviously you feel like it's about time for you to get ready and warm up and all that. Like, what do you do to get ready or get yourself hyped up to like come out there? Do you like smelling salts or like Red Bull? Like, what do you do to get yourself all hyped up?
I was
Even
a
maybe
big
now in
Red Bull
professional ball
guy.
too.
I was a big Red Bull guy, for sure. That was always the one that our dietitian told us was like the best to drink. He's like, if you're gonna drink an energy drink, like just drink a Red Bull.
Okay.
But I'm honestly like kind of weird in that sense. Like I almost like to be like try to like slow the situation down. Like how most closers in college, especially, are like psychopaths and like
Right.
yeah, like I'm almost more of like a try to like slow the game down kind of thing, and then I'll like show all my emotion after it's over. But a Red Bull for sure for the caffeine, even if it doesn't do anything, just the just the
Yeah.
mental side of like,
Yep.
okay, this is going to get me fired up, and then just try to take it one pitch at a time. That's all. Yeah.
What about now in professional, like now in high or low A and high A? Do you do the same thing? You still crush Red Bull right before you get out?
I do drink Red Bulls pretty often. I'll get a few before road trips and everything on days I know that I'm going to pitch or I think I'm going to be pitch. But I try to drink it in like the fifth inning now instead of like right before I go out so that like I'm not too jittery.
Hmm.
But yeah, definitely still a Red Bull guy. Just try to plan it out a little better. That's all.
Yeah, like I was talking to a guy who plays for the Marlins. He says that his in high A, their high A team, one of their pitchers like drowns himself. He like gets water and like breathes it in, and then like it just gives him adrenaline rush, and then he just like freaks out and he runs out there. And he said like the whole bullpen is now kind of like adapted that I guess routine that they just like drown themselves. They literally just breathe in water through their nose,
Yeah,
and like that's just insane what he does.
I've never heard of that or seen that, but
That was
hey,
the
if it
first time I ever
works,
heard of it.
then go for it. Like
Yeah.
I'm all in if it works. Like yeah, I mean, I'm always looking for something, but I think that I'm more of like a like my heart gets pounding as soon as I get told that I'm in the game or
Hmm.
like to get hot. So like I'm almost the opposite. Like I don't need that like jolt of adrenaline before I go out there. I almost need like a deep breath before I go out there to like kind of like control it a little bit, you know? So
Yeah, no, for sure. So obviously in draft day you didn't get drafted, which it's I'm sure it's a chip on your shoulder and kind of motivates you and stuff. But and you're pitching well, like I said, you're already in high A. Some teams are just gonna be kicking themselves, thinking like, we could have had him. Whatever, it is what it is. You're gonna dominate. You do you. Um, like how fast did the Rays reach out to you afterwards and say, hey, like we want to get you signed?
yeah, so draft day three came around, and I remember my agent was telling me that like he was confident that I was going to go like around the 15th round, somewhere in there. I'd had a pretty good senior year. I was throwing pretty hard, and I thought that that was going to be a good chance. I was pitching really well at the end of the year, so I remember as that draft day went on, and just this feeling of like, oh crap, like this might not happen. It's just not a good feeling. So after I didn't get drafted after the 20th round, I was pretty upset. Um, and my girlfriend was there, my mom, and then my best friend from high school. And so, I didn't really know what to do after that. And almost like, I don't know, maybe 3 minutes after the 20th round, like it was barely any time, I got a call from a random number, and it was an area scout with the Rays, and they said they wanted to offer me a free agent deal. And so I called my agent and told him, and he was like, "Oh, this is a perfect organization for you. Like it matches up perfectly the way you pitch, the way you think about pitching, et cetera, et cetera." And called my college coach and told him, and he was like, "Yeah, they already called me. They already asked me how you
Nice.
were and everything, and I already told him that like he's a perfect fit for you guys." So everyone was happy, and it was a pretty emotional time for my family and I. We were happy that this dream had come true, because it wasn't just my dream. I mean, my mom, my dad, my sister, my girlfriend now, I mean, they've supported me for a long time. And
Yeah.
my best friend, Jack, they've supported me through a lot of ups and downs, especially in college. So it was a good moment. It's pretty surreal for sure.
Yeah, and absolutely. And did any other teams reach out to you? I mean, like, or no? Because it's just the Rays.
I think I had a lot of interest. I think the Rays were the first one to call and officially offer, and I think that it was the best fit. So it
Mhm.
just kind of worked out that
Yeah.
way. I think I would have had a good amount of other teams reach out to me, but I think it just happened so quick
Yeah.
that, yeah. So
That's awesome. And like everyone said, like the Rays are a good fit, especially for like relief pitching, because they like one thing about the Rays, they just love pitching. Even in the majors, like they'll throw out like arm after arm after arm. That's kind of how they've been working with and stuff. But I mean, like pitching for them now, like in the minors, do you see like do they like what do they do that makes them so good in like the in developing pitching? Like, do you notice a difference, or not a difference, but do you see like how this can be effective?
absolutely. I think the main thing that they do that's so well is that they maximize what you're good at. I mean, they know how they see you projecting to the next level, and they want you to just maximize that. I think the biggest mistakes I've made, early in my career, were trying to be something I'm not, or like
Mhm.
always trying to, build off of this, as opposed to like, let me be really good at like two or three things. And like, that's plenty. Like, that will, you know what I mean? Like, that'll
Mhm.
get you through. And that's what the Rays really emphasize. And then the other side of that is, I'm a true believer of like, you are who you surround yourself with, and like iron sharpens iron. And like being
Mhm.
around all these guys in this organization that, do all these things so well, it makes you like learn it somehow, or like you stay sharp somehow just from watching these guys day in and day out
Mhm.
compete, and how they go about their business and everything. So I think they have a really cool environment in this org um, that really teaches us how to maximize our own skill set. And I've learned throughout the way that, to be me, to be Kyle Whitten, and maximize that before, you try to be someone else or do something that someone else does really well. So
Yeah,
absolutely.
and that's good advice to anybody, listening who's either pitching or, looking to do that kind of go that route. Like, just be true to yourself and don't try to be something you're not. And like the Rays, they're a good organization. So I'm super excited for, what you're doing now and stuff. How was the adjustment from like the ACC where the travel's nice, everything is nice, to now you're in like low A? Or did you do rookie ball at all? I don't know, but I mean, just
Last summer we did. Yeah,
yeah. So
last
how was
summer
that
we did.
adjustment going from like, all right, to like, okay, now I'm in like the bottom of the bottom, like crappy bus rides, like terrible food, the hotels suck.
Yeah, it's a transition for sure. I just kind of adopted this mindset that like this is part of the journey, and I'm gonna try to enjoy every step of the way. It's definitely easier said than done, especially when you have a good outing or you have a bad outing. You try to stay even keel, but in the ACC we were getting like on our long trips, we were getting like chartered flights and
Right?
stuff. Like we were getting treated great, really good meals. And the Rays do a great job with feeding us. Our nutrition is really well. I've never had an issue with any of our nutrition. Some of the bus trips are long, um, and none of the hotels are like terrible, but it's definitely not some of the ones we stayed in. Like when we were in Charlotte for the ACC tournament, or like in Durham for the ACC tournament the year before, or Omaha. Like some of these hotels are like amazing. And so, I mean, it's been a transition for sure, but I kind of adopted the mindset that like it's part of the ride, and try to enjoy it with the guys that you're around. Because I think that when you look around and see that all these other guys are in it with you and they're kind of on the same dream and same goal, it kind of makes it a little bit easier to enjoy it and be happier there. So
Yeah, and you see Austin with his bag of shoes just roaming.
I know, I
Oh my
know.
goodness, I'm gonna have to talk to him about that. That's funny. That yeah, I wasn't expecting him to be a shoe guy, but that's awesome. And how tall are you? Because obviously he's like 6'7", 6'8".
Yeah, I'm just right under 6'4". I'm like 6'3" and 3/4, and he towers over me. I mean,
Yeah,
he makes me feel small. So he's a
yeah,
big boy for sure.
yeah, for sure. And like I was asking him, I said, I'm like, hey, you're a tall pitcher. It's hard to miss. You have the major league flow already. He said, dude, how crazy are your DMs? He's like, nah, nothing, not too crazy. I'm like, oh man, we gotta help a brother out here. Gotta
Yeah,
get this out.
yeah. I'm sure he does fine.
Yeah,
Don't let him fool you. His new pair of shoes for every outfit is for a reason, I'm sure.
I was gonna say he probably has a new for every outfit, and he's just styling out there
Oh
on
yeah.
buses in the middle of nowhere. Speaking of like the
Oh
middle
yeah.
of nowhere, obviously the minor leagues they travel, you go bunch of random places, and like a lot of these stadiums are in the middle of nowhere. What is like the most interesting place you visited, where you get off the bus and you look around and you're like, dude, where am I? There's like a Subway and like a Dollar General or something.
No doubt, Kinston. No
Yeah,
doubt, Kinston, North Carolina. I mean, our hotel was like this like weird like square thing, and like there was like a little pool and a mini putt, like a
I know,
golf
I know
putt
all
putt.
about
Yeah.
it.
I'm like, where are we right now? Me and my roommate in low A on the road was Ben Peoples, who's a righty with us, and our beds were like maybe like 6 inches apart. Like they were like basically touching, and then like the bathroom was probably bigger than the room with our beds in it. And the hotel wasn't bad. Like it was clean. Like it really wasn't bad. It was just like, where are we? Like we
Yeah.
were like, we have a McDonald's down the street and like a little breakfast shop that like I
Hmm.
guess is like a big local spot. Like that's all we had. So that place was definitely the most interesting. I didn't even know that a place like that even existed. So it
Yeah, and they got
was
like the polka dot sheets and like the
yes,
the
yes,
colorful
it's like
walls and stuff.
neon.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, dude, that's one of the most that place is always mentioned when I ask that question. I get that a lot. Beloit, Wisconsin. I don't know if you pitched there. No, you're not in the AL Cent or you're not in High A Central. Where are you guys at for the Rays?
We're in the South Atlantic
South.
now.
Okay.
I think last year they were, but I think we just changed this year.
Oh,
So
lucky you. You got lucky because Beloit. I mean, they got a new stadium, but the city is just the worst. Worst city ever, man. I live like
yeah,
45 minutes from there. It's not the nicest city to visit, but I think that hotel was like sponsored in like the stadium too, right? Isn't it like one of their sponsors, the Mother Earth Lodge or something?
yep,
Like,
yeah. It's like I think it's got a huge sign out there. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, and you know what? I've never been there. I've never traveled to that state, or I guess yeah, I've never been to that state. I might have to just do a field trip one day and just be like, you know what? I'm gonna check out this Mother Earth Lodge or whatever it is. Do a little putt golf and maybe swim and hang out with my polka dotted bedroom and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, if you do, let me know how it is. Tell me what you think. So
I might just vlog it. Like I'm not a vlogger, but I might be a vlogger just for a day, so I could go down
yeah,
there and
it's worth it. It's
yeah.
worth it there. It is an interesting place.
But how's the stadium there? Is the stadium pretty nice?
Yeah, the playing surface was
Okay.
fine. I mean, there wasn't too many fans, but the playing surface was fine. The only field that I've had like I don't really like is Asheville, the tourists here in High A. I just can't stand that field.
What's
I had
wrong?
a really bad I had a really bad outing there, but the fence in right field is like really short and really tall. So I don't know. I just don't like the field at all. It's like, I don't know, 280 or 290 to the right field thing. And then it's just a straight up fence and it just runs into a mountain. So I guess they can't move the fence back or something. I don't know. And like dead center is like 360. It seems like it plays so small. So that's the only one that playing surface wise I haven't liked. It's really hard and infield's kind of rocky. And like, I don't know. I just don't like it there at all.
What is your favorite place to pitch then? Like maybe like you play the best or you just get the best vibe playing there.
Um, well, in college, we played at the Durham Bulls and the Charlotte Knights. Both of those are unbelievable. I love our ballpark here in Bowling Green. I think it's really nice. Um, Winston-Salem, the Dash, theirs was really beautiful. Greenville's is really cool because they have like the kind of the monster in left field. Like I said, there's a lot of really cool places in minor league baseball that the stadiums are like cool and they all have their own little touch.
Hmm.
So it's been cool to see all those and kind of how each organization kind of has like different affiliate sites that kind of match like
Hmm.
their higher levels or their big league team with like Greenville and the Monster, and then like the Winston Salem's is just reminds me a lot of like Charlotte. Like I don't know why it just does, and that's their AAA team, obviously. So it's pretty cool.
While you're pitching or hanging out in the bullpen and stuff, what do you ever hear any like the fans chirping at you or some of the guys? Because obviously like minor league stadium, like it's small, you can hear everything going on. Like, what are some of the funnier things you've been told, or maybe you hear fans kind of chirping at some of the guys out there?
I've heard and seen some crazy things. Especially Omaha was one of those places too. That was pretty crazy. I'll start with that. I was warming up to go in against Mississippi State, and you know how they have the beach balls that they like
Hmm.
throw around the stadium in Omaha. So I was warming up, and we were in the left field behind the left field wall. I was getting hit with those, and they had like drawings on them of like bulldogs, like doing things to Cavaliers and stuff, like pretty explicit things. And they were like throwing it at me while I was
Oh
getting
my
warm.
goodness! This is
So that
during the
was
game. During the game.
during the game. Yeah, like during like the eighth inning, like when I was about to go into the game, like I was getting hit with these. Like
Jeez.
they were dropping them because they're like overhead, so they're like throwing them down, and they had like these drawings and like all these like it's like FUVA, like
Yeah.
F Virginia, like all these things. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is insane. Charleston was another place. They get like a ton of fans there, and they have this little like hill behind us in the bullpen, and it's an on field bullpen. And so these kids all go to this like little hill and like play and everything, and they are ruthless there. Like they will like try to grab your hat and like try to grab like if you leave a ball on the bench like to get up to go throw or warm up or something, like they'll reach over and try to grab it. Like it's like we almost had to like slide the bench out like a few feet.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean you always have some people that have some words for you or
Yeah.
something, but um the kids are sometimes really bad if they are just like grabbing your stuff or like trying to take your glove or something while you're sitting in the bullpen. So
So the
yeah,
bullpen, like they can reach into the bullpen from
they
in that stadium?
it's like the fence is like right like
Okay.
you sit on the bench and the fence is like head level, so it's like perfect for
What?
them to like yeah like reach over.
Jeez.
They like put up like ropes to try to keep them off the fence,
Hmm.
and it's like probably 2 feet out from the fence, but they just rip them down. Like
Yeah.
they're like they're like yeah, what is this rope
Yeah,
here
yeah.
for?
This
Like I'm
rope
just
ain't
gonna
good. This
rip
rope ain't
this
gonna do
right
nothing.
yeah, so they'll just rip it down and then they'll be right on top of you. So
Wow. And then all game just can I get a ball? Can I get a ball?
oh yeah, yeah. It's the big surge now is can I play rock, paper, scissors
Oh,
for a
okay.
ball? I don't know where that came from, but someone told them that works. And everywhere we go, every game, there's probably multiple kids that come up to us and say, "Hey, rock, paper, scissors for a ball." And we're like, "We can't give them out, buddy. Sorry. Like,
Yeah.
if there's a foul ball, like, we'll throw it to you. Absolutely. But can't give these ones out." So, yeah.
Yeah, and like the fans are ruthless. Like they're out there chirping. Like it's sometimes you just got to give them. You got to nod and be like, all right, that was kind of funny. But
Absolutely. Sometimes they get some funny ones going, and you try not to give them the satisfaction,
yeah,
but sometimes they have some pretty witty things that they say.
yeah. What do you? Is there one that you can say like maybe something that you hear and you're like, wow, that was you just got to like tip your cap. Like that's actually kind of funny.
Sometimes they'll like talk about how we're in like A ball. That's usually one that you're like, oh, that kind of hits deep, but like it's kind of a good chirp.
Yeah,
If they like remember one of your outings or something, like they might say something like that. I'm trying to think of a specific one, but um, I think we had a kid in Omaha one time that a guy asked for an autograph, or a little kid asked for an autograph, and he was like, "Yeah, absolutely." So the kid like dropped him down the ball on a pen, and he signed his ball, and he threw it up back to the kid, and the dad or like an older guy next to him. I don't know if it was his dad or if it was just some random guy, and he's like, "Hey, like, thanks, man. That's really nice of you." And the guy on our team was like, "Yeah, of course, like, no worries." And he's like, "Because that's the last time anybody's ever gonna ask you to sign a ball, like, you
Oh,
loser or something." He's like, "So enjoy it now, loser," or something. And like,
jeez.
our guy was like, "Dang, dude, like that's brutal." But
I would have chucked that ball like over as far as I could. Like
well, it
that's
was after he already gave it back to
yeah,
him. So at
yeah.
that point, he was like, it was kind of like over. But he ran to us. He's like, "You'll never guess what the guy just said." Like that was hilarious. So we were laughing about that for a while. That one was pretty funny.
It's funny that these guys say something like that, but they've never played or, they've never gone further than high school and stuff. And like, it's like these guys who would say like, oh, I could hit that ball or just hit the ball or, or throw
Yeah,
a strike. Well, if
yeah,
it was that easy, everybody would do it. And you're out
yeah.
here
That's when it
chirping.
gets annoying. That's when it gets
Mhm.
annoying is when they say like things that like aren't even like witty or funny. It's like, it's just frustrating if they're like sitting there for you behind you for like 5 innings saying the
Mhm.
same thing over and over again. Like I was getting chirped in Winston-Salem last week for like being focused on the game. I was getting hot to go in the game, and I was throwing in the pen, and they're like, "Oh, you're so locked in. Look at you!" Like they're like screaming that at me. I'm like, I don't know if like that's supposed to be a diss or what.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I don't get that one. Like, what do you want me to be doing down here? Like joking around while I'm about to go pitch? Like that just I don't know. Some of them are kind of brutal.
Yeah. Wow, that's crazy. Like, don't be so focused. What is your
Yeah,
deal, man? You should, lighten up a little bit.
I know. I guess so.
Bring a deck of
I'm like,
cards out or something.
I'm like,
Oh,
geez, guys.
yeah. So one thing I want to ask before we go, actually two things. Obviously, you travel around from place to place. Like, what is maybe the one thing that you've been asked to sign that's just like the most random thing?
Charleston definitely had some weird requests. A phone, like one without a case on it. Like
Uh,
it wasn't a phone case. It was like a plain phone. And I was like, "Are you sure? Like this isn't Sharpie. Like
yeah.
once this goes on, like this is not coming off." Shoes. I got asked to sign a pair of all white
Was it Austin
Converse.
who asked you?
Yeah, he probably's been asked to sign the same things in Charleston. Like a pair of like all white Converse, like almost brand new.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, I just don't feel comfortable like putting black Sharpie
Yeah.
all over these shoes. Like, um, yeah, I would say probably a blank phone, or I signed a kid's arm one time,
And that,
and then
that
a
always
shoe.
confused me. Like I've had like four heads. Like, why do you sign? Like, what? You're just gonna rinse it, wash it off, and stuff. And
Yeah,
uh,
I don't know either. I don't think I could do a forehead. I would be like, that's just very odd. I
yeah,
think I did the kid's arm like right above his hand.
yeah.
So
Who's one guy in your team that just gets bombarded by like all the autograph guys? Like,
usually the high round picks.
yeah.
So like Carson Williams in Charleston, like there was this lady one time that came to me in Charleston and was like, "Hey, like, could you sign this?" And I'm like, "Yeah." So I signed it, and she's like, "Okay, like, I really just need you to go get Carson for me out of the locker room and
Hey,
ask him to like come get this autograph." I'm like, "Okay, no, he's already in for the day. Like, I'm
yeah.
not doing that." Like, I'm not asking him to come back out here. She's like, please, like my daughter wants his autograph. I'm like, I'm sorry, ma'am. Like if he comes back out, like you can feel free to ask him, but like that's like
You're
that's
not the
he's
messenger.
already in, and yeah, like I'm not gonna run all around the stadium to find Carson to come
Jeez.
sign you, like so. Yeah,
Wow. Do some of these guys need like security just to get out of the stadiums? Because like some of the player exits are just right into the parking lot.
yeah. A lot of our buses are, especially on the road, are like right there, or like I guess at home in some regard too. In Bowling Green, it's not like we kind of have a back um like exit parking lot thing where we park, but in Charleston, like we would walk out of the locker room and it was like right on the main, like where all the concession stands are
Mm-hmm.
and everything. So some guys, yeah, I mean, it's like there's going to be a lot of guys waiting there after with like, I don't know, perfect game cards and
Mm-hmm.
high school cards, and then also their pro cards that they want them to sign like 15 of them. And it's like a
Yeah.
bunch of these people. It's like this guy would be here for 4 hours if he were to sign all these cards. So
Yeah, it's insane. People come with like stacks of cards and then they'll play like, oh, I wasn't here yesterday, or they'll just come every single day and like they end up
yeah,
selling them and stuff. And like, they obviously make money if
yeah,
they do well. And that's that, that's how it is with cards and stuff. But I mean, yeah, these
yeah.
fans can be ruthless. Um,
Yeah, the thing that I don't understand the most is the blank cards. Like I'll never sign a blank card. Like that just this is feels like it's got bad intentions. Like if you
mhm.
bring like my card from Charleston or something, or a card from UVA or something, and like want me to sign it, like I'll have no problem signing that. But like when it's just a blank index card, like it's just like what are you gonna do with that signature? Like
Oh, they
it's
try to
got
copy your
nothing.
signature and
Yeah, I
maybe
guess so.
or
Yeah, I don't
something.
know. I just don't feel comfortable doing it. So
Yeah,
that's the one thing that always confuses me.
yeah, I don't blame you. One more thing I just kind of brought up. Were you ever the K batter or the K pitcher, or maybe like struck out the K batter in these minor leagues things, whether it's like the beer guy or whatever it is that like 50 cent beers or stuff like that, where you're like everyone's just cheering you on, even if they're not a fan of your team, but they're cheering you on just because they that's the K batter and they want to get him out.
No, but in Charleston, if we had won by like 5 runs or more, or something like there's some promotion going on that if we won by a certain amount of runs, they get
Mhm.
something. And we were in the last inning, and I had like 1 out and like 1 strike on this guy in the ninth, and they started like cheering, like finish it, finish it, and I'm like, I cannot one strike this guy out with 1 strike.
Yeah.
And two, I can't get 2 outs here. So like you guys are gonna have to hold this. So they held it for like 3 or 4 pitches, and then finally it like died down, and then like with 2 outs and like a few strikes or something, then they like picked it back up. But like the like off timing cheering, I was like, there's no possible way that the game can end on this pitch. Like even if he puts it in play or if he swings a miss, like there's no way that this game is
Yeah.
ending. So like you guys just calm down for a minute. So that's probably it.
What a chant. Finish him. That's incredible.
It was like something like that, or like some chant that
Yeah.
like was like finish the game or some sort, and it was like dude, there's no way I can strike this guy out with 1 strike. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. All right, let's end on this. What do you do when you're not pitching? Like what on your off days and when are you a golfer, gamer? Like what do you do for fun?
Yeah, I mean, I like to play golf with my friends. Tend to stay away from it in season because it seems like more of a physical like commitment that I want if I'm, gonna pitch on Tuesday or be hot on Tuesday. Like in the off season, I like to play golf. I like to fish a lot. I'll play Warzone with my buddies, and just hang out. I mean, I'm a pretty laid back guy. I like to just kind of lay low and hang out with my friends, whether that's in the off season or whether that's here. I like to just be around the guys. So really, whatever they're doing, um, if that's Warzone or fishing or swimming, golfing, whatever it is,
Yeah.
um, yeah, just kind of do all that. So
What music do you listen to get yourself hyped up before you pitch?
I like rap. I like country. Also a big like gospel music fan, like a more like modern, like
Mm-hmm.
faith based music.
Okay.
So it kind of depends on the day, really.
Like if you does gospel get you like hyped up though to pitch or no? Because I feel like that's something
Yeah,
I
it
would listen to like
will.
afterwards, like
It
especially if
would
you have
like
a bad
no, it
outing, you're
definitely
like, all right,
will.
I need you.
Yeah, like in the car on the way home, like in
Yeah.
my feels. Yeah,
Yeah.
like that's yeah. I got like a few different like I got some that like like get you like ready to like David versus Goliath. Like you
Hmm.
like feel like you're like, oh, like
Okay.
nothing can bring me down now. And
Sure.
then like there's some after that's like, if you pitch well, you're like all praise. And then if you pitch bad, you're like, oh, all praise, help me please. Like,
Yeah.
like
Okay.
in
I
my
can see
field.
that. I
So
guess I can see that.
yeah,
It's cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of all over the place on the music scale for sure.
Yeah. That's incredible. All right. Well, hey, I want to thank you for coming on. I do appreciate it. Taking time out of your, especially on an off day and stuff. So yeah, thanks for coming on. I appreciate that. Looking forward to seeing, the season's almost over, man. It's like a couple weeks.
Yeah,
That's just crazy.
I know it's crazy. It's crazy. I appreciate you having me on. It's been a blast. Thank you for what you do for minor leaguers
Of course.
and really, I saw your bio like biggest hype man
Oh, dude,
for
that's
minor
that's
leaguers.
exactly what I am, man. Like I swear, like
Yeah,
no matter where you're drafted, undrafted, I've had undrafted guys. I've had like high second round. I think the second round's the highest I've had on. But like honestly, like just talking to guys and like letting them share their story, man. It's incredible, and
yeah,
trying to just show like fans that there's more than just them pitching or hitting at a game. They're just normal people.
absolutely. And just know that we all appreciate that, and
Yeah,
means a lot, especially to me, guy who went undrafted and is trying to make a little name for himself. So thank you for taking your time out of your day to have
dude,
me on. It's been a
absolutely.
blast.
I'll have to have you back on. I might have to do a pod with you and Austin on.
Yeah, that'd be
We'll do
awesome.
some
Let's
shoes.
do it for
I might
sure.
have to go shoe shopping with him or something. Like I'm
Yes,
not a
and I
shoe
can come
guy.
too. I need the help too. Yeah, I need the help too for sure. So
Is he a
I'm
style
all in
guy
on that.
too? Like other
Yeah,
than shoes, like he has the swag, the style. He's pretty dripped out.
yeah. He's definitely got it figured out for sure.
Man,
Yeah,
he might need to
yeah.
help me out then.
I mean,
Because
we got back last night and he had a shoe shipment in and he was like walking around the apartment. He's like, "What you think on these? You like these?" I'm like, "Yeah, bro, they look good. Keep those." Yeah.
dang. Okay.
So yeah, I think he's got like the deals figured out too. Like I think he gets good deals on them too. So
Yeah, I don't even know how to shop for shoes. Like, I mean,
I don't
I wouldn't
either.
even know where to begin. I might, all right, I'm gonna have to do that. I'm gonna mark that on my calendar. Try to send myself a note. Have you both on, and we'll have to talk some shoes and stuff and see how it all goes. All right,
Oh
brother.
yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah, man. All right, you have a great rest of your night, Kyle. Appreciate it.
All right, you too. All
All
right,
right, brother. Bye.
see ya. See ya.